welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my current highlighting and contouring routine for you guys. So I hope you all enjoy this video. Let's get started. So if I really want to go for the contoured sculpted look, I always go in with the cream and then set it with a powder. I find that this just really helps it lock in and stay in place. First I like to go in with this cream bronzer. It's the Soleil Tan de Chanel bronzer. I am obsessed with this stuff. Yes, it is ridiculously expensive. I think it's almost like $60 or $65 after tax. But guys, I've had this for years now and I have barely made a dent in it. It's kind of gross, but I'll show you guys anyway. So I've barely made a dent in it. I guess that's kind of a big dent, but I've used this for a long time. I just saw a video for a girl who did a dupe on this, so I'll make sure to link that in the bottom bar below. And I think it's just like the cheaper version, the drugstore version, but she said it works just as well. So I'm going to take my damp beauty blender and go right in to that cream contour. All I'm going to do is go right below my cheekbones, and for most people that's right where the ear begins. So I'm going to go right in line with the ear. And all I'm doing is pouncing this cream bronzer. You don't want to swipe it. This pouncing motion makes it look more natural. You can just wear it like this and it's like, oh, do you have bronzer on, or is that kind of just your natural skin tone? You don't ever really know. It just looks so effortless, so natural and pretty, and it kind of almost gives that dewy effect. With this bronzer, I really don't have to focus too much underneath the cheekbones. I can kind of just blend it around and bronze up the skin. And then once we go in with the powder contour, that's when we really sharpen up the contour, if that makes sense. So I'm going to do the same thing just on the other side. And then I like to take the excess and kind of go on my forehead and on my temples as well, just wherever the sun would naturally hit. And then underneath my chin.
My jawline. Take away those double chins.
It really does help. It's incredible. The power of makeup. You can always stop at this step if you just want a bronzy glow, kind of dewy, natural finish. But then I always like to go in with another bronzer. You don't have to do this. This isn't a requirement. You can go straight into the contour if you want. I just noticed that the contour sets better over another powder. So I always go in lightly and just dust this on my face. This really helps lock in that cream bronzer. And guys, if you do these multiple steps, and I know this sounds like a lot of steps, but if you do these multiple steps, your contour will stay in place all day, no lie. If you have a big event or prom or whatever, just a big day at work or something like that, this will really help your contour last. And what I love about this is it has a little bit of a sheen to it. So it just gives you that golden glow, that J-Lo glow that we're all looking for. And I always bring this down my neck too. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go in with my contour brush. This is the Kat Von D Shade Light Brush, and I really, really love this. If you want to put some powder under your eyes, they have these light powders here, and I use this side of the brush. I've honestly used this so much so you can barely see the powders, but then I use this side for the contour. So I always mix these two shades together. I don't know why, I just do. I find it looks the best on my skin tone. You can kind of play around with it. This, oh, I didn't even mention this. This is the Kat Von D Shade Light Palette as well. So these two go together and they work amazing. I love, this is my favorite palette above the Anastasia one, above the Tarte one, above all else. So I love this one. So all I'm going to do is put that contour right underneath the cheekbone. And I kind of like to rub back and forth with this to kind of blend it in as you're working it. You can see that that contour is pretty strong right there. I'm going to take a bigger brush and kind of blend that out in a second. But let's do the other side first. So yeah, you want to stay back on like the outer third of the face. And you always want to take your brush and blend it up towards your cheekbone, never down, because that will do the exact opposite effect of what you're wanting. You're wanting to pull your face up, and if you ever blend your contour down, you're basically just making your face look saggy, if that makes sense. I just take the excess product and go on my forehead as well. So now we kind of got like 3 layers going on, and that will definitely lock it in. I know it's a lot. You don't have to do that much. This is just what I do if I want to go for the extreme contour look. So see how much more depth that's already bringing to my face? Like if you just put on foundation, it kind of just wipes out your face. That's why I love adding the bronzer. I love adding the contour in there. It just really sculpts out your face. So now I'm taking this Morphe brush. It's just a regular powder brush, and I'm going to just kind of blend all of those powders up that I just applied. Then I'm just going to use my Laura Mercier Secret Under Eye Brightening Powder, put a little bit on my hand because I'm kind of running out, and dab that, and then all you're going to do is just go right underneath that contour to sharpen up the line. I'm not going to like bake it or anything because I don't normally do that. First I'm going to put on my blush. This is my absolute all-time favorite blush. If you ever ask me, this is my favorite blush. This is the Sephora Micro Smooth Blush, and it's in the color Clair Light. I'm obsessed with these colors. Obviously, I've already hit pan on them, but I still kind of try to dig my way in. I mix these 2 colors together, this pinky shade and this light pink shade. So I kind of try to stay away from this bronzy color down here. But this just gives you the prettiest glow to your skin. It's super natural, but it just like enhances your skin tone. Like if you ever use the ambient lighting powder, it kind of reminds me of that, except a lot cheaper. I think this was like $16. So I put some on my brush, and I'm going to just try to find my cheekbones. And I don't like going right on the center of my cheekbones. I kind of start there and blend it back, but I don't keep it here. I always blend it back into my hairline. I find that that just enhances your cheekbones much more than just putting it right on the apples of your cheeks. And I always do a swirling motion backwards. I don't always contour my nose all the time because I have a pretty long and narrow nose, but sometimes I will scrunch this brush up and just take a tiny bit on my brush and just go down the sides of my nose. See the darkness that it adds right there. And nose contour does make a huge difference if you want to thin out your nose. I just go right down the side. Nose contour, you want to be very careful because it can look a little crazy. So I always go back with my foundation brush and I add some foundation back on top of it. So you can still see the shadow I created, but not that harsh nose contour. What I do like to do though is kind of lift my nose by creating a little shadow underneath it. So I just kind of draw these 2 little lines, and it kind of just lifts your nose up. And then I'll take my foundation brush, just this flat top kabuki, and kind of just blend that in a little bit. I think I might do the Jaclyn Hill Champagne Pop Highlighter today. I'm going to use my fan brush. I'm going to go just lightly in there. And you always want to go right above where you put your blush, right on top of your cheekbone. And I like to keep my highlight backwards because I notice I have some kind of bumps and stuff more towards the inner parts of my cheeks. So I always keep my highlight back so it doesn't enhance that. But I even have some here too, so whatever, but it's kind of annoying. So I just do that like